the point really is that conservatism is absolutely okay. It's just the first stage. And then liberalism or wokeism, or we can call it whatever we want to, is also perfectly okay, and it's just the middle stage. And then we became, the third phase is about taking part. It's about taking part. It's the participant mindset. So conservative, liberal, and participant. And the participant mindset is participant in God's creation kind of a mindset. And I have my place, and I have my communities, and there are other people who can rely on me, and I help them on the journey. Hi there, my name is Steve Jós. That's István in Hungarian, but I've given up anybody pronouncing that English-speaking people. So it's Steve that I'm using now. But anyhow, the point is not this. The point is the ARC conference of London. ARC conference by Jordan Peterson. And I feel the urge to react to a blindness that I perceive. Because I've been using the hero's journey for helping people. I've been doing this for over 10 years now in my native tongue in Hungarian, so all content is in Hungarian, and the books are in Hungarian and everything else. But I'll try to write an article at least to introduce it in English. But the point really is that the way I see it, there are three phases of the evolutionary journey of any individual and also communities. And that means that there are three phases of the evolution of the worldview of people. And the first is beholden to the patterns and socializing. That's basically the matrix, so to say. When we are not aware yet, that's the first third. And then we are conscious. Then we are woke, so to say. The first third was conservative, because we are just copying anything that we've seen from our surroundings, from our parents, our society, everything else. So that's a copy paste of anything that we've seen. And then we are conscious and self-conscious, and we awaken, so to say. We are woke. It really is a right term, woke. But then the third phase is to find purpose. So my experience is that everybody needs to be self-centered first before they can find purpose. Lately, I've been trying to explain this with the prodigal son's journey. My experience is that everybody is on the prodigal son's journey. The hero's journey is the prodigal son's journey in reality, and the prodigal son's journey is Moses' journey. And there are those 40 years in the desert, in the middle, and that's self-consciousness, that's self-centeredness, and self-consciousness is a result of self-centeredness. And that's where freedom is the utmost value for anybody. So there is a there is a time where I call these the big epochs, and there are three of them, and there is a central one, which is about me. And we all need to experience that to in a sense, to die into it, to crash and burn, to experience being lost, to experience the longing back home to my father. That's why it's the prodigal son's journey. There is a desert in the middle with a promised land in the future, but for anybody to find the promised land, we need to find purpose. So anyhow, the point really is that there are three phases of the journey. And the same goes for political thought, and the same goes for worldview as well. And that's what I'm missing from this conference. I understand there were 1,500 participants, and I've been watching many of the talks, most of the talks by now, but I keep watching them, and also listen to commentary. Like, I'm very grateful to Paul Vanderklay, because that's a very personal narration of the events, and I'm as if I was there almost. So I thank you, Paul, for these. But anyhow, my impression is that it's mostly about liberalism, and it's mostly about conservatism, which is the first third. Conservatism is the world view of the first third, where we are member of tribes, and we see values, and we function following patterns, and that's conservative. It cannot be anything else but conservative, whatever a person is following. and but in the middle stage we are all liberals. So the first third is conservative as for a worldview and also politically, and then we are rebellious. That's the middle stage. Everybody is liberal as a young person and rebellious, and then it's not that people go back to being conservative. Some people do, and that's also important. It would be a longer explanation, but the point, or the hopeful outcome, or the outcome we should all foster in each other through love, that more and more people can reach it, is finding their purpose, and that's the third phase. Everybody needs to find their purpose, and our purpose is being a valuable part of the creation. Our purpose really is finding the meaning. We all need to find. That's again big words, and I don't really have the time to explain them. And I also hope that you will understand that the way I have experienced it is that people need to find God before, and by finding God, they can become a part eventually. So that's the third phase, is finding my place. And by finding my place, I also need to realize that I am a part, and I also need to realize that there is something bigger that I can be a part of. I am invited to be a part of, and that's the creation, and there is a creator. So anyhow, it's time, and it's a lot of work, and many people fail along the way, and many people wake up from the matrix but then want to go back to eat the steak, same as in the movie. So many people give up on this journey, and that's the only way, and that's what we all need to foster, so that people don't just look into the abyss, but come out victorious on the other side, having found the order of things, having found God, meaning the order of creation in a sense, and having found that by experience. We all need to experience that, and we can help each other. We need to help each other. The way I see it, groups are of utmost importance, and organizing groups and organizing communities is the way to go. Is what we need to do now. That's my experience, and it's exactly what Estuary is doing based on my understanding. But the way I see it, Alcoholics Anonymous or Anonymous, whatever, AA is also doing this work globally and very successfully, of leading people to the realization that they need to give up their life to a higher wisdom, a higher meaning, a higher purpose, a higher identity, to God eventually. And that's and I also deeply agree that we need rituals to achieve this, and I also deeply agree that basically we have a political failure and the worldview failure in the world right now, because we really do have failure of our religions. That's what I see. That Christianity is not serving contemporary people well by pushing dogmas instead of helping them traversing the journey, because we need to allow people not just to keep them back with leashes by these dogmas, but also modern people need to be selfish. The modern world is about you and how important and valuable you are, and it's close to impossible, the way I see it, for these individualized modern people who believe they are something special. They need to crash and burn in the fiery hell of their self-centeredness before they can find the true way and the true path that leads to God, that leads home. So that's why it's the prodigal son's journey, the way I see it, and this is what I was looking for in the speeches of ARC, but mostly what I see is conservatism, which is also religious or cultural Christian conservatism, which is great, but it's not accessible to modern people. For some people, it works because of their communities and because they were lucky enough, in a sense, to get help from those communities, and they somehow they could really walk on the water and stay afloat instead of drowning into the hell of self-centeredness. My journey is dying into the hell of self-centeredness in any sense. I was anything, a big womanizer, a big porn addict, a big pagan, in a sense that it was Eastern religions and Eastern philosophies, and all these led me back to Jesus, to the man and the teachings and the example, and then realizing that that's the only way, and somehow Jesus is really the key, and the religion, Jesus would be the door to a functioning religion. And I see more and more people finding Jesus the example, but there is nothing behind. There is no community. There is no, because the religious practices and the religious communities I see are in the first third. They haven't really evolved. So we have the conservatives, and that's the religious or cultural Christian group, and then we have the liberals who are self-centered. These are the Sam Harrises of the world, and modernism and postmodernism. Good luck with that. And then we really have, it's very interesting, we have individuals in the third phase, and that's where I would put Jordan Peterson, for example, into all, Paul Vanderklay as well, and some other people are reaching towards that. Joe Rogan is reaching towards that, but there is no community, there are no practices, and also I was somehow hoping, I was somehow upset nobody invited me to this ARC conference, but obviously I cannot be seen in Hungarian, so that's why I'm starting now to talk in English and try to put out content so that not the purpose is not for me to get invited to the next ARC event, but for the message to spread, for the message to be out there, because we need to build the new communities, and we need to incorporate the new practices. Really, that's what I see, and that's what I have started, basically following along the pattern of AA, because Alcoholics Anonymous is really about addiction, and my understanding is that the problem really is addiction. We have a global addiction of self-centeredness instead of God-centeredness. And that's just an evolutionary thing, and it's perfectly okay. Everybody needs to start their life copying their parents and their social environment, and that's the first third. And then everybody needs to be self-centered, and that's an addiction of self. We are addicted to our parents and our social culture and their tribe first. Then we are addicted to freedom and ourselves and me. And then we can become addicted to God, in a sense, and that's the right addiction. And it's really an evolution of addictions. And if somebody is alcoholic or drug addict or porn addict, as I was, or anything else, it doesn't really matter what kind of addiction one has, because it's always self-centeredness. And in a sense, alcoholics are better off because they crash earlier. Consumerism, which also is an addiction, where I can feel good by buying stuff for myself, just stuff, anything and everything. It's not as obviously crashing. Many people can manage their lives and hide from the fact that they are addicted and lost and not in control of their lives. And that's what more and more people need to realize, that they are addicted and lost and not in control of their lives, and they need to give up their life. And that's the 12 steps of the alcoholics. And we've studied the same, not the same, we studied a version of the Alcoholics Anonymous. That's we call it the imperfect society. But anyhow, that's about the addiction of self-centeredness. And we use the same 12 steps, and we use this model of the journey that I've been using for 10 years now. And it's fascinating. It's amazing, because we really can have purpose. And also this also is about what I'm talking about, is also about the gender or sex roles, how we differ, and the journey differs, the male journey and the female journey, the journey of the man and the journey of the woman. I have several hundred videos on this topic that I cannot summarize in this one. So anyhow, I somehow there is too much to say now, and I'm bursting from other things, and I also still looking for the words, because even though I've been living in the States, I've not been really using my English very much lately. And also I don't have somehow don't have the words yet. I need to talk about this more, much more, to find the words and find the verbs and find the ways of and just because it's always about the story, and I really need to simplify it down, this story. But I hope some people understand it the way I could present it today. So anyhow, the point really is that conservatism is absolutely okay. It's just the first stage. And then liberalism or wokeism, or we can call it whatever we want to, is also perfectly okay, and it's just the middle stage. And then the third phase is about taking part. It's about taking part. It's the participant mindset. So conservative, liberal, and participant. And the participant mindset is participant in God's creation kind of a mindset. And I have my place, and I have my communities, and there are other people who can rely on me, and I help them on the journey to themselves, to realizing the potential, realizing the talents, on the journey to God, because there is no other journey, there is no other cause, there is just one cause, the cause of the creation. It's God's cause, and we need to find our part in that. We need to take responsibility for something in the creation that is our place, our specific place. So I completely agree. Mostly, not with everything, but mostly with Jordan Peterson. And I just found him lately, very recently, and last year I found him. And he's just a beacon of light that gives me hope that there are other people. And also around him, I see people gravitating and meeting up. And that's what I'm hoping to participate and also contribute to. And this is why I'm making this video. And this is why I launched this channel. Follow the White Rabbit is about the journey, the hero's journey, the prodigal son's journey. There is much more content to come. This is just a first reaction to ARC, because there is a third way. That's the point. It's not just conservatism and liberalism, but it's also participantism, or whatever, or I don't know. We shall find the word. That there is the third stage, which is about purpose or purposefulness. So it's conservatism, liberalism, and purposefulness. That can also be the third term. I hope this is energy, and also it's investment, and also returns are very slow. YouTube algorithm is very slow in promoting new channels and new content in this day and age. But I hope I will have the energy of keeping up. You really do help if you like this video, or if you follow the channel. Especially if you follow the channel, then I can see that you found something of value in it, and that gives me energy and gives me power to make more videos like this. So I hope you like this content. I hope you can see how the hero's journey, or the prodigal son's journey, is really the journey every individual is on, every community is on, every company is on, and also globally the political thought is on. And that's why we are in a meaning crisis, because we are close to hitting rock bottom, or we are just now hitting rock bottom, really. If you look around the world, starting with even before COVID, but especially COVID, and then the war in Europe, unthinkable. I mean, what a shock. We thought history was ending, and we have a war on our hands in Europe. And then obviously now the Near East and events in Gaza, and the terror attacks, and the Israeli reaction, and all this fragmenting of our world. And basically it's somehow also the failure of Pax Americana. It was started as a shining city on a hill, but really I absolutely agree with Tom Holland, how it's a Christian enterprise, but by the flower being cut off. I don't know whose picture this was on the conference, that it's a cut flower type of situation, where the Christianity was the roots, the faith was the roots, and now we have the practices and the values. But without the faith, the practices and the values will just fade out, just like a cut flower. And that's what we are experiencing. And we're very close to rock bottom. And also I feel this energy of the new beginning, like in the Star Wars, the new beginning of the Jedi finding each other, and that's what I think we are, Jedi. I consider myself and the people who are connecting to me. We do have a small community here in Hungary to be like the new Jedi, and we need to represent light by obviously our life and our practices and our deeds, and our example that is the deeds, but also we need to speak up, is my experience. So this is why I'm making the video. Hope also do contact me, do write to me, do react in comments, or I don't know, anything that if you find any value. My energy is gone. This is as much as I could muster today. But the point really is that ARC was missing ARC was missing somehow the solution. And Jordan feels it, Jordan has it, it really takes a lot of faith and somehow maybe a lot of arrogance to believe or to really come to the conclusion that we need to come up with a third way. It's not liberalism, it's not conservatism or liberalism, it's purposefulness. It's the third way. It's being part of creation. It's creationistness. I don't know, and we need to have our practices and we need to have our communities. And there is no other way of having them. We need to build them. We need to build them. We need to build our communities. We need to connect, and we need. There is no shortcut. Somehow I feel I was looking for a shortcut for 10 years, and also I feel in ARC. Somehow people think that maybe a think tank and there would be a shortcut because many wise people somehow come up with a solution and then we can present this globally to the world, but I don't see that working. It's the bottoms up approach. We need to do the groundwork, and that groundwork is tens of years, tens of maybe hundreds, I don't know, but we need to build new kind of communities for this new meaningful way of life, because really civic society has failed us, and also, like it or not, this is what I see here in Hungary, the Christian practices have failed us. We hardly have any orthodoxy here in Hungary. I love Jonathan Pageau and his work, and also Lord of Spirits podcast, and there is great value there, but we need to, it's just not present. For example, here in Hungary, it's just not an option for us. And also, I don't think it's approachable for contemporary people. Whatever we do, it must be approachable to contemporary people. That's my experience. And Jordan Peterson is approachable because he is not a priest, as Paul was saying in one of his last videos. Being a psychologist, and because he has these accreditations and whatever, the paper and the documents and the stamps, and he has the authority of a professional. And we are in the world of the professionals now. And I'm also not a professional. I'm a self-prophesized, whatever, prophet shouting from the hills. It's amazing view up here. I had to come up to I somehow need to be, I like to be in high places and to talk about the high things. But anyhow, I was feeling this hope of finding a shortcut in ARC, and I don't believe there is a shortcut. I believe we need to build this new community from the ground up, and we need however this may sound, anonymous alcoholics is the example. That's my experience. We just need to update that and widen our scope so that not only addictions of like alcohol or drug or this traditional, but any and all self-centeredness is incorporated or encapsulated, and that's what I'm hoping. That's what we have started. But I really don't. It doesn't matter what we started. We call it TT, two T's. Like Anonymous Alcoholics is AA. We are TT. It's the Society of the Imperfect Ones. And also TT is two crosses. Somehow people need to find the cross, but also people need to understand the cross. And these are two different stages in my experience. One is rock bottom, hitting rock bottom, and turning back to God, or for the first time towards God really, and establishing a personal relationship. And then the next cross that's Jesus's cross, which is assuming our place. which is taking up our cross, which is our personal cross. So somehow we find the cross, we find creation, we find the creator first, but then we also need to find our personal sacrifice, which is our place in life, which is our purpose, our mission, and also that also means our community, and that's why it's two T's, two taus, two crosses in this symbol. But whatever, Esture is also fantastic. So anything that we need to find the game that people want to play. We need to find the game that spreads like wildfire on its own. That's the task. Like Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, like AA has demonstrated that it's possible. That's what I believe. We believe there is a third way, and then we need to be it from the ground up. And the example is AA. That's the summary of this video. Thank you for watching it, and this is one day about after my birthday. By the way, I just started my 50th year yesterday. It was my birthday yesterday, the 15th of November. Today is the 16th, and I'm happy to share this. Happy to launch into the English-speaking sphere. There is much more to come. Thank you for watching, and keep up the good fight, everybody.